Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Sam Wagers. No, I'm not. That's what the notes say, though.
Who put the exclamation point on your teleprompter?
The curse has been passed to me. Dang you, Sam. No, I'm Dan Caporello, here hosting a show, per usual, with Sam Wagers, the actual Sam Wagers, and John Cummins, and Shannon, and we're RetroLogic. We're back. We're doing it. We're doing Donkey Kong this week. Thank God. Somebody's doing Donkey Kong. For crying out loud. But RetroLogic isn't just a podcast, it's a whole community of retro gamers. We've got an active, friendly, and free Discord community, giveaways, contests, and you can dive into our family of retro podcasts, including RetroGroove, a music history podcast, On Topic Retro, a podcast to get dedicated to one video game per episode, hosted by our very own John Cummins. And you can find all of this over at retrologic.games. I think that URL works right now. It's been kind of squirrely, but I think we got it back up and running. You can go there. You can go there and tell me if it doesn't work, and then we'll fix it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Guys, it's been a minute. How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Making it.
All right. We're alive.
We're alive, yes.
Okay. Alive and
we're alive
waiting.
In this imminent Switch 2 launch days before, where everybody's having their own worries about their pre-order situation.
I don't think there's a single store that doesn't have like some kind of weird stuff, shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
The Best Buy cancellations, the Target late ships, and then Walmart's like basically unresponsive. Like no one knows what's going on with those pre-orders.
And like GameStop's been fine as far as like I know. I got my brother Adam got one at GameStop. But if you like want one that you didn't pre-order, you have to be there at 3 p.m. and to get a ticket and then come back.
That's gonna be rough.
I don't know.
There's people in line all day for that, I bet.
Yeah, crazy. So I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna get my console late from Target because I stopped caring about that. All I want to do is play Donkey Kong, so I can wait a month.
Oh, you're not gonna. I mean, you can play Donkey Kong in Mario Kart.
It's true. There's even a Donkey Kong
course
level. It looked like a course that looked like the original.
Got it.
Yeah, with the girders and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What games besides Mario Kart are you guys
Space.
picking up at like with your console? Because there's only a few.
Yeah. Really. I'll pick up Bravely Default. I do have it already on 3DS, but it would be just nice to have it on the Switch. But unfortunately, because Square Enix has decided that they're going game key cards, and there's no way this doesn't fit on a 64 gig cart, I will apparently be buying it digitally, which breaks my heart. But at least I still have the physical version for my 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense for them in this way that if they're going to do that, because it is a cheaper game, and I think that it's a smaller game, so it almost be like a waste to put it on a 64 gig card whenever it's going to be quite a bit smaller.
So they could have just put both the 3DS games on the cart.
Yeah, I mean they could have figured out a way around it, but I think Nintendo is giving a way to kind of still give you a tradable game or a resellable game. It's not great for long-term, game preservation, but
right
for the now,
I get it.
Yeah, for the now, it's something. I guess it's better than getting an empty box with the game code in it. So,
absolutely, 100% better than that.
Yeah,
and I'm not against getting some of those game key cards if like I'm at Walmart or whatever, and there's a game on clearance or something like that. I'm sure I'll end up picking up some along the way.
I guarantee you will buy, if they come out with a Switch 2 version of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake, you will.
They are, and it is going to be on game key cards.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to buy that one, right?
I
might actually not buy it.
I will buy the Switch version. I will buy the Switch version, the Switch 1 version, because that's on just a regular game
Yeah.
card.
And you
and
could just play that on your Switch.
I can't imagine the Switch 2 version is going to be that much improved over
No.
the Switch 1 version.
I've already bought.
It's-
I already pre-ordered the Switch 1
Yeah.
version of it.
It's gonna have new funky mode.
New Edric mode.
That's right. He's got a surfboard and everything.
Yeah, I probably won't be picking up any games that come on a key card, mostly just because I don't like the idea. To me, it's the same as having a digital game, and I won't spend more than $30. $30 is whoa, I have to have this digital game. It seems crazy to me to spend more than that on something that you can't liquidate at any point.
Hey, well, I mean, and that's the kind of the thing with the game key card. You're still going to be able to sell it. Still going to act.
I wonder what the resale of that's going to be.
It's going to be the same, I think. I don't think.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, for now, it will be the same. That's why I was saying long term. Later, whenever you can't plug that card in and download that game from the shop, it's going to lose all of its value. But for this next 8 years that we're going to have Switch 2, GameStop's going to treat that just like a regular game card.
How is that even going to work on logging your games into Game Eye or whatever? Is it really complete in box?
Well, I'll have to make a new category for it or something.
Yeah.
But I'm for sure Mario Kart. But then I'm also I went back and forth between Rune Factory, Guardians of something, I can't remember the name, and Cyberpunk, and I'm gonna do Rune Factory. I think it looks real good.
Yeah. I'm thinking about that one too. Maybe over Bravely Default, and I think it's down to
it's also a physical cartridge.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think it comes down to the fact that I already own Bravely Default physically, so I'll probably digitally buy Bravely Default sometime later. And then when it goes on sale,
that's not a bad idea.
And then buy Rune Factory instead up front.
And it's got mouse controls when you're in city building mode. So, woohoo!
Yeah, they definitely put out a game that looks, better than what we usually get from Rune Factory here lately.
But does it have HD rumble?
Do any Switch games have HD rumble anymore?
Figure it out anymore.
I don't know, but apparently we're getting a new form of HD rumble.
It will last for a year, like the original HD rumble did.
Yeah.
How else are you going to count the number of ice cubes in your controller?
Yeah.
I am really excited about the new Kirby Forgotten Worlds content, and I'm excited about mouse mode in Game Builder Garage. I actually really want to try that, give that another go.
Is the Kirby update also this week?
Yes.
Or is it later?
I think it's out.
I think it's
live whenever Switch 2 goes live, when the eShop does.
And of course we'll have GameCube games too.
So I never got around to getting Forgotten Lands, but I am thinking of actually picking up the Switch 2 version.
It's a good game.
It's so good. I was telling Adam today, he was asking me about that because I was telling him what I'm going to pick up, and I'm definitely getting the expansion. Kirby and Forgotten Worlds is the first 90% of that game it's a kid's game. It's pretty easy. That doesn't mean it's not fun. They still do the Nintendo thing where every level has a unique mechanic and then they just throw it away and give you something brand new on the next level. And it's just really clever. Just a clever game through and through. But then the last 10%, they just crank up the difficulty. Suddenly
it's Kirby, man.
You think you're going to beat this game as a breeze, and then you're like, oh no, what the heck? And they keep alluding to the ending in this game, and you don't really know what's going on until you hit it, and it's really good. I feel like the last 10% turn it from a 7 out of 10 game to a 9 out of 10 game.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll probably be getting that too if they don't. I'm kind of wondering if some of these won't end up being included in the online packaging, for the plus, what is it called? Expansion.
Yeah. Well, that brings up too, I do want to jump into some Breath of the Wild and just kind of play around with, the updates there. And
I'm kind of glad that I didn't go back and replay it on Switch.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played Breath of the Wild since 2017.
Yep.
Oh,
so I'm going to probably really enjoy going back to it. It's going to feel like a new game again.
And I'm sure as a family, my family's going to want to pick up the update to Jamboree, Mario Party Jamboree. because that's a game we enjoy as a family.
You're gonna let your family play your Switch too? Oh, you have older kids.
I have older kids, and they can still use old controllers from the Switch 1.
Yeah, my family's never. They're never gonna even see. They're never gonna.
Once
I'm like, don't even think about this console. I don't want to think about your
Never
grubby
gonna know.
hands all over my $500 handheld. Just don't even try.
once the madness kind of calms down, I'll probably buy a second one for the house, and I'll probably lock it in a box to where it can only be played on a TV.
That's how we play Switch now.
This
is
That's how we play.
Yeah.
It's like, this is actually a home console. This isn't portable.
That's right.
Here, you want to throw something? Throw this old controller. That's fine.
Yeah, and I won't
Just
let
don't-
them use it. They'll have to use the old Joy-Con and stuff with
Right.
it.
For sure. Yep. I have a bunch of third-party controllers you guys can toss around.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
A billion of them. But
All right, should we do Prices Retro? Should we jump into that before we do Donkey Kong?
let's do it.
If this is your first time playing Prices Retro, this is how we play. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and everyone has to guess how much the lot is worth in total. Whoever is closest to the actual value wins that round. Everyone has a list, and everyone guesses each other's lists, so we go in rounds. And at the end, the player that won the most rounds wins the episode. But watch out for the robot, Deus Guess Machina. He averages our guesses together. And the rest of them aren't listed here. So can somebody else do the rundown?
Well, we have the Dinosaur, which he takes the cost or the MSRP.
Yeah, the original
Leonard?
retail.
Leroy?
Yes.
Is it Leonard? or Leroy?
Leonard. We don't even
Leonard.
know our dinosaur's name.
He adds
And he
up.
does what?
He takes like the original cost of the games. And
Yeah,
just
he
adds
guesses
those
the
up.
retail value from its
Retail value.
original when it was new.
Okay.
And then we have the Ghost, which always guesses 300.
The Ghost of Sam.
Ghost is poltergeist, right?
Poltergeist.
Yep.
Which is what we left behind whenever Sam joined the show.
That's with 2 S's
Yeah.
because he guesses.
It's the Ghost of
Whatever.
Ghost of Sam the guest because he became a host.
Sam's ghost. Well, let's go ahead and just jump right in then, since now we all know how to play. And I think that Sam's going to go first today.
Okay. So, in honor of Donkey Kong, I have a list of simian
Let's
themed
go.
games for us. None of them are actually Donkey Kong, though. Starting with, they're actually all going to be complete in box, too.
Okay.
So, just to get that out of the way, but I'll repeat it. Starting with Space Chimps for the PlayStation 2, complete in box. Toki Going Ape Spit for the Sega Genesis.
What in
Also
the hell is
complete in
that?
box. Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll for the Nintendo DS, complete in box. Monkey Madness Island Escape for the Nintendo DS. And lastly, Ape Escape Academy for the PSP, complete in box.
I have a number, but we're going to go in order here. So, actually, I'm the first guess, so that works. My guess is 150. Straight up.
I think I'm going to go 125.
Dang it, John! That's exactly what I had. Well, I'll go
Yeah.
130. I'll go 130.
So John is the
See?
closest to the
I should
three.
have guessed second.
The total is 86.54. So the rundown there: Space Chimps $6.04. Toki Going Ape Spit for the Sega Genesis, complete in box, comes in the highest value of $52.49. Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll for the DS, $11.67. Monkey Madness Island Escape for the DS, $5.96, and Ape Escape Academy for the PSP, $10.
So what was your total again, Sam?
86.54.
Oh, we were like way off.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so even the
Looks
Dino was at 220. So, okay.
interesting. He like shoots psychic orbs out of his face or spits them or something. And then,
Well, why not?
yeah, I mean, the whole game is a run and gun.
That's the
where you're a
That's the
monkey.
ape spit.
Who's
Oh,
the
that is-
developer
yeah.
on that?
That is the ape spit. Oh man, let's find out. I just looked this up. Let's see here.
It's a whole series.
I mean, it's
the Toki
Japanese.
games.
Juju Densetsu or something is the, let's see, developed by Sega. Semi sequel of Toki, originally released. I don't know. I don't even.
I mean, to me, that almost sounds like something Treasure would have had its
Yeah.
hands in somehow. Like,
Yeah, right. TAD Corporation license
Because it's a shoot 'em up.
yep.
I know what
Yeah,
it's not, but
And just, yeah.
yeah, there's not a lot of info about this game, and probably rightfully so. But congrats, John. All right. Next up is me time. Okay, so I was gonna do something very much like what Sam did, but then I said everybody's gonna do that. So I went with the whole like end of Switch era life cycle thing, and we're doing just just a couple of Switch games that you guys can guess the price of. So let me know
how many Switch
what
games
guys
you
think
got?
about these. Got 4.
That makes my job easier.
So we have Castlevania Advance Collector's Collection Ultimate Edition.
Oh.
These are complete in box.
Oh, gosh.
Ooh.
Blasphemous Deluxe Edition. The House in Fata The House in Fata Morgana. That's it. Collector's Edition. And Outlast Bundle of Terror Murkoff Briefcase Edition.
So these are all...
Just a couple Switch games.
Are these limited run?
Some of them are limited run, yeah.
Okay.
Are they not in your...
And these are all the collector's editions. Well, yeah, the Dinosaur is going to be completely blown up by this.
Blow them up. Get them out.
Oh, because he's guessing 60, because that's the average price of a retail game. Am I first to guess on this?
First to guess is John, yes.
Okay. I guess I'm just going to go 650 just because I'm expecting these all to be outrageous.
Okay. And then
I think I'm next, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go with 550.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I was literally thinking before this, but I guess I'll split the difference at 600. Well, that's going to make me the same
That's
as
fine.
the robot.
Actual retail...
So I'm going to go 601.
Actual retail price is $981.
It's going to be that stupid briefcase one, isn't it?
It's kind of all of them, actually.
$989?
$981.
Oh, 81. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So-
guess that's John again.
I win.
That's John. Unless one of the others got it, but I don't think so. Castlevania Advanced Collection Ultimate Edition is $325, so that's kind of one of the big ones. Blasphemous is $111. The House in Fata Morgana is $175, and the Outlast Bundle of Terror Murkoff Briefcase Edition, had to say that again, is $370. So these are some of the most expensive.
I'm kind of curious how much these. I'm curious how much these.
Yeah,
were
probably
at
close to
launch.
this.
Because these are, like
Right,
ultimate
Probably
editions.
close to that value.
Yeah.
Too bad you didn't have like Scott Pilgrim or the No More Heroes because I have those from
Oh yeah.
Limited Run. Yeah, I would have known the value.
Yeah. I was just looking at like lists of expensive games on Switch and picked
Nice.
a few that looked interesting. But yeah, so just to screw with you guys a little bit, there you go. I mean, you guys were right that they were expensive. You just didn't know how expensive. So John won 2 so far, right?
Yes,
Yeah. He's on a roll.
2 for 2. All right, so
which is unusual here lately.
Yeah. Me or Sam are gonna have to win 2 rounds to beat him.
All right, so I'm next.
You're next, John.
Okay, so I have a different list than Sam, but kind of the same idea since Donkey Kong and all. I have a list of games that are like Donkey Kong games or games that have Donkey Kong in them. We'll see if you guys, I mean, you guys should be able to get all these of what the Donkey Kong counterpart is. First game on the list is Taiko Drum Master with Drum for the PlayStation 2.
Oh, bro.
Complete in box.
Okay.
The second game is Jumpman for the Commodore 64, complete in box. The third game is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair for the Nintendo Switch, complete in box. And the fourth game is Lemmings for the Super Nintendo, complete in box.
Hey. It's a good one. I like lemons. Lemons? Lemmings. So the
Lemons
first
are okay
guess
too.
Is Shannon.
Yeah.
Shannon's the first guess.
Just one second here.
Not that it matters because he can't win anyway, but it's fine.
I am gonna go.
You can
I'm
keep
gonna
us
go
from
180.
Okay.
2. Sam's next.
Yeah. I got 240.
Okay.
I got 250. Literally 250.
Okay. Well, that means it looks like Shannon has this one.
Oh!
Maybe. Hold on a second. Would you guess Shannon? Let's see.
180.
Bro.
Actually, no, the Dinosaur wins this.
Lord.
Because you were about $19 or $18.43 off. Because my lot was $198.43.
How is that not close enough?
Because somehow the Dino was only $11.50 off.
So the Dino adds up original
Retail value.
Oh my gosh.
And he got it.
Yeah. Dino is not.
No,
really
he
done
actually
much
wins
before.
a round. This might be the first time.
He wins the round where it matters too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So nobody
I
can-
I guess if because since they work as a team, if one of these three wins again, that means they're tied with me.
Oh yeah. So Shannon, you gotta give us some stuff we can guess, man.
But
We'll see.
okay, so
I'll
wanna
do
hear
the rundown.
breakdown here.
Yeah.
so my breakdown: Taiko Drum Master with Drum for the PS2, complete in box, $60.49, and its Donkey Kong counterpart is obviously Donkey Konga.
Mm-hmm.
Jumpman for the Commodore 64, complete in box, is $49.95. And Jumpman is basically a knockoff of the original Donkey Kong arcade game for the Commodore 64. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair for the Nintendo Switch, complete in box, is $38, which this is basically Donkey Kong Country. And Lemmings for the Super Nintendo, complete in box, is $49.99, which is the closest thing I could think to find for Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the minis.
Yeah. That's pretty close. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Definitely the
It
inspiration.
was the Commodore game that got me. That was the one I was off
Yeah.
on.
No, I thought Taiko was more expensive than that. I was going like 100 plus.
Now
on
you
that
need to
one.
get you a Taiko drum game.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there's one on Wii, right?
the drum.
There's one on Wii. There's
Yeah,
one
I think
on
so. There's one on the Switch.
Switch. Yeah, all my non-Tendo stuff is pretty much sold except for Sega Dreamcast. So can't get a PS2 game. All right.
One more list.
All right, last list here. So last episode, I did one where I just picked some NES classic games because these are games that everybody should know. But the caveat is these are all complete in box. So nothing unknown here. We'll just straight up see how much we know the values of them.
All right.
So first game, there's 5 games here. All complete in box, all for Super Nintendo.
Oh, sweet.
The first one is Super Mario World. This is not the one that came packed in. This is the actual separate.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
That didn't have a box.
Right.
Sure it did. The whole Super Nintendo
Well,
box.
I guess like you could say the whole system was the box, right?
But then you gotta have the system,
Right.
But that's
Exactly.
how. See, I got my Super Nintendo with Donkey Kong Country, so this was never part of what I had. I never had anything like this. I had like the Super Nintendo box, but so this is like cool for me as a novelty. But Mario World is like everybody had that.
Everybody had that, but not everybody had it complete in box.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Second game, I had to do it. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Game 3, Donkey Kong Country.
Okay.
Game 4, Final Fantasy 3. US edition. Final Fantasy 3 US. And Game 5, Super Metroid.
Oh man,
All right.
it's like I know them, but I'm always like questioning myself because
Sam's first this time.
because
right?
the prices of these have fluctuated over
Yeah,
the years,
same.
and so I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, when's the last time I actually saw one of these, and how much was it?
Yeah.
Right?
Complete in box always gets me. I either am way under or way over on it. I've got 235.
Okay. Dan?
So it's me. Wait, let me do some quick math here. Screw it. I'm just gonna go 600.
I'm going 650.
You would,
Well, John got it.
bro.
And he wasn't even close. So total value is $1,365.95.
1,365.
Yep.
Oh man.
People have been like buying these to get them
Yeah,
graded.
well,
No,
you
these
can
are not
tell.
the graded ones.
So it's got to be.
Well, no,
Right.
I'm saying people would
Yeah.
buy complete
Yeah.
in box
The
and then
supply
get
and
them
demand
graded.
is
It's
insane.
the vast majority of this is the Super Mario World.
That's what I was going to say. It's got to be.
I've never
Super Mario.
actually
No way,
seen.
dude.
I've never actually seen a separate complete in
Okay.
box Super Mario World in person. But that one was $562.79.
Good
I
lord.
was only
Yeah.
off by like $500.
The entire price of the most
Um,
expensive game in the lot.
Yeah.
Legend, the Link to the Past. That one is $198.79, which that one fluctuates right around
Man.
that $200 mark. I have that. That one I have. Donkey Kong Country, a cheap $69.39.
And I had that one on the
Yeah.
money.
I paid. I think I paid 60 for mine actually,
So
and it has the manual. What it doesn't have is the like cardboard in the inside that holds the game. So, but those you can just get off of like
I was gonna say
custom,
it should be
custom
able
game
to find.
cases. Yeah, that's an easy piece. Yeah, happy to pay $60 for Donkey Kong Country.
Final Fantasy 3, $255. It's another one I have. Fortunate enough to have complete. And the fifth Super Metroid is $279.98. Second most expensive on the list. I unfortunately do not have that complete.
Yeah, I don't even have a good copy of it. Mine's kind of rough, and I think it's a player's choice. I have the complete Donkey Kong Country 2 that Dan needs.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Did you know that Donkey Kong Country 2 is the highest selling Super Nintendo game of games that were not pack-ins?
I did not know that. That makes sense.
That makes sense. It's
I can believe it.
it's a great game.
Solid.
I'll get into it.
I mean, if you asked me to guess which one was,
Yeah,
that
'cause
would probably come up.
I think a lot of people liked Donkey Kong Country 3, but it was so late in the. I mean, the N64
people
was
moved
already out.
on. Yeah.
Kind of killed it.
DKC3, if you're listening out there and you're like, that game's not good, like that's old information. That game's fantastic.
Oh, it's really
It is a
They're
good game.
being played.
It's a great game.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Especially since you can just play as Dixie Kong.
it's DKC
Yeah.
2 plus more. Like, it's just better.
I got no love for Kiddy Kong, but Donkey Kong Country 3 has some unique, cool stuff. You got to go check it out.
See, that's literally like all people say when they say it's not good. They're like, "Oh, Kiddy Kong's a baby, and babies are dumb." And it's like that's literally your.
Well, then
entire
you-
opinion on
Then
this
you don't
game.
like Yoshi's Island either, right?
Oh yeah, better not play Yoshi's Island
It's got a bunch of babies
Yeah.
in it.
or any Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
Just past like Double Dash.
I have to say that I think 3 actually has some of the best music, and I mean that's saying something because
Oh, yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
series is just, I mean,
It's
chef's
straight
kiss
bangers.
for music.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I don't agree. All right, that was fun. Congrats, John, for getting like 3 right, and then
I rocked this one.
the Rampage trio beat up the rest of us, so we're all just over here in the sidelines wondering what happened.
Just got mugged like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, just like dizzy and wow, where am I? When we come,
Got
we're
put in a
going
barrel.
to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Donkey Kong. This is going to be a 2-parter episode. Part 1, we're going to go through some ancient Donkey Kong history. We're going to talk about Rare era, and then we're going to cut it off right around Donkey Kong 64, and we'll pick it up at our Part 2, closer to Bonanza launch, either before or after. I don't know. We'll see. And we'll pick it up from GameCube era all the way through, and then our thoughts on Bonanza, and kind of look at the whole history as a whole. Now that you know what we're going to do, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do it. Simple as that. Welcome back. It's Donkey Kong time. Donkey Kong. I'm hype about it. I'm excited. We're getting a new Donkey Kong game, guys. I didn't think I would see the day, to be honest. I was wondering what was happening in life. And then we got Bonanza. We got Bonanza around the corner. But we're not talking about Bonanza today, because nobody's played it. We're talking about classic era Donkey Kong and rare era Donkey Kong. Kicking us off with the original 1981 arcade game. Yeah, I mean, you probably know what this is if you're listening to this episode. Not much to go into here. I always thought this was always one of my favorite arcade games, even before Country came out, and then Donkey Kong like took over my entire personality. Just because like the characters are super recognizable, it's pretty easy to understand what's going on, easy to play, and it wasn't your typical like space shooty or maze game. It was fairly unique among arcade games at the time, and I think that I always say this as kind of a kind of a friendly, like cheeky shot at Mario fans, is that Donkey Kong is the reason Mario exists. So, and this is the game. This is the game right here. Donkey Kong had a name before Mario did.
It's pretty amazing that all that hinged on a failure. You know, if that game would have actually been successful, we wouldn't have even have Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And we could thank Popeye
yeah.
for that.
I remember they had this game at the pizza place we used to go to as a kid, and me and my dad would play it, and that's a good memory. But yeah, fond memories of Donkey Kong. Anybody else experiences with Donkey Kong 1981?
I mean, this was probably, it's one of the first arcade games I remember playing as a kid. And to this day, actually beats out Miss Pac-Man. It just beats out Miss Pac-Man is my favorite straight up classic arcade game.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely played this one a lot, and I even had the not so pleasure of playing the ColecoVision version at home. Because we had an Atari 2600 and a ColecoVision, and we had Donkey Kong, and it's not the same.
Yeah, I did play a lot of the 2600 version of this, but at the time, like being able to play that arcade game, even though I mean it looked not great, right? Like it looked like, but having played both, I was just so excited that I could actually play the same game more or less, even if it didn't look and quite feel the same. But back then I didn't really care. I was still playing Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing the back then the difference. I mean, thinking of like now, and even thinking of like, Super Nintendo to PS1 era, the stark difference the arcade was from the home consoles in that era was pretty incredible. And I mean, and that's lends itself to why Donkey Kong was so successful, because it had like bright colors and great character and animation, and and at home you're kind of like a dot on a screen. So yeah. Anybody else? Anything else about the old arcade Donkey Kong before we John takes it away with his Game & Watch collection?
I was trying to look back because I couldn't remember which game it was, but it was Radar Scope that failed and gave us Donkey Kong.
Oh, right. Yeah, they converted those.
All of them?
Converted those cabinets, right? Yeah.
It was a series of events that actually led to it, because like I said, we also have Popeye to thank for this, because they wanted to use Popeye originally and couldn't get the rights to use Popeye in the game. They would later get the rights to use Popeye in Nintendo games, but we ended up with Donkey Kong first. It's the story is very unique, and it's crazy to think that that one failure gave us Donkey Kong and Mario, essentially.
Pretty insane.
Without that, we wouldn't have any of them, or probably even Nintendo. If that game would have failed and they wouldn't have shifted the way they did, we might not even have them anymore.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, because Donkey Kong kind of created that. Yeah, but it might not have been as good,
We might not even have platformers, really, arguably. I mean, I guess somebody else would have stumbled upon it early, but yeah. It's kind of funny, my perspective on this, because I was born after this era had already basically ended. But I didn't play these games in the arcade. I think crazy. I have played an arcade of Donkey Kong, but I want to say my first time playing the original Donkey Kong arcade game might have actually been on the e-reader.
One of the hardest,
I know that's the first copy
golden
of it
bananas to get in Donkey Kong 64 is that you have to beat the first
that
three
goes
levels
for
of
Donkey Kong Jr.
arcade
and Donkey Kong
in
3 as
the
well.
game. Like you walk up to an arcade machine, and it takes up the whole screen. Now you're playing classic Donkey Kong, and it's freaking hard.
For kids that never played a whole lot of Donkey Kong on arcade.
Yeah, I mean, and they changed nothing. It's the game. It's the first three levels. Good luck. Like, jeez. Oh man, that frustrated me to no end back then. All right, John, you could take it away with some of your Game & Watch stuff, because the rest of the next three games in Donkey Kong are all Game & Watch related.
Yeah, so they're, I guess, and they all released in 1982, which is crazy that Nintendo was just kind of pumping Game & Watches out. I guess it didn't really take a whole lot to make a Game & Watch. But these early Game & Watch Donkey Kong games are all fairly similar to their arcade counterparts. Donkey Kong for Game & Watch is kind of like the first level of Donkey Kong played on a calculator, essentially.
Nice.
And Game & Watch, for anyone that doesn't know, is a pretty unique device and has its own story to be told and how it came about as well. But it is like calculator technology. It's an LCD screen that is populated with every possible action that the character can make on the screen, and then when it's called upon, it will highlight the one that it needs.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at the screen from a different angle, you can kind of see them all there, but whenever you're actually playing, it will light up the one that it's doing. And like I said, they're all fairly similar to their arcade games, but since it's a single screen and it's not a digital picture running, it's not like a video game, it's like I said, it's more like a calculator. You are limited to that one single frame, so they're still fun. I imagine like my kids have a hard time going back to them now, but when I was a kid, these were even really before. I didn't have a whole lot of any of these as a kid, but I had Tiger games that were very similar.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same idea.
Same idea, yeah.
They don't really. I mean, they don't make them anymore now for kids. It's kind of
yeah.
Although they did a run of like McDonald's had a run of the little Sonic the Hedgehog ones.
Yes, Tiger has re-released some of their. Some of
they're for us. They're not.
Yeah,
for
they're
actual kids.
Yeah, they're collectors.
It's for the nostalgia buy.
But no, these are definitely really cool. I like Game & Watches a lot. But they...
So I was just curious that there was actually a Donkey Kong 2. I always just assumed Donkey Kong Jr.
It is. Donkey Kong 2 is strictly a Game & Watch game. And it plays like Donkey Kong. So it's almost like they just grabbed the second level out of Donkey Kong Arcade and called it, 2. It's just a different platforming challenge, like a different level. But as far as like the arcade games go, Donkey Kong Jr. was Donkey Kong 2. And like I said, it would get its own Game & Watch as well. And strangely enough, it also got a Coleco tabletop type Game & Watch that I was showing everyone here before the show started that plays just like Donkey Kong Jr. and it's even in color. It has a color LCD, so like you can see little Donkey Kong Jr. going to grab a green vine or whatever. So I don't have any. Oh wait, there's some other ones. Donkey Kong Jr. for arcade will be next in 1982. Did you guys play Donkey Kong Jr. in the arcade?
I know I had, but it didn't click with me the same way that the original Donkey Kong did. I found it harder, actually.
It is harder.
Was Donkey Kong 3 the one?
I like Donkey Kong.
Which one is the one with the bug spray? Is that 3?
That's 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
3.
No,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't
Stanley.
I guess I didn't really
Bugman.
play Junior very much. That's where little Donkey Kong's like swinging from vines and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, the vines are hanging down from the ceiling, and you have to kind of go. But they use it a lot in the more modern Donkey Kong games, like Donkey Kong 94 uses that mechanic quite a bit, where you're climbing up things. If you have both hands on 2 vines, you go faster up and down. But
I like the idea of this one where you're now a little Donkey Kong running around.
yeah.
Donkey Kong the Revenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever played a Donkey
And
Kong
Mario
Jr.
is
cabinet.
evil.
Yeah, Mario is the bad guy
Mario
in this
is
one.
the bad guy. Yeah.
I'll have to check it. We'll have to check out CGF at Classic Game Fest to see if Pinballs has that.
Yep.
Any of the old Donkey Kongs on display, because they definitely bust out some of the more obscure. They had Pac-Man Junior Arcade, which combines a TV screen and a pinball machine.
Yeah.
Which was a really cool little game. They had one of those, which are kind of rare. So I know they bust out some of the weirder stuff lately. I'll have to see if we can find a Donkey Kong Jr. or Donkey Kong 3 in a CGF.
Yeah, and I definitely played a lot of Donkey Kong Jr. on NES. Like, I don't know that I ever played it on a cabinet though. And Donkey Kong
That's
3
in the
was
Classics
kind
collection, right?
Huh?
That's on the Donkey Kong Classics cartridge.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it also it was also its own cart.
Oh, no way. Okay.
I'm fairly sure. I was going to move to Donkey Kong 3, 1983 for the arcade. I know for sure I never played a Donkey Kong 3 cabinet. And
I don't think I have either.
I didn't really play the NES version of this game either that I can remember. It wasn't until later playing it on
this
like
is the one
Virtual
I don't
Console.
really care for.
Yeah, it's kind of weird mechanics. It definitely doesn't quite play the same way.
Donkey Kong Jr. is like, okay, we riffed on this, we did something different. You're the Donkey Kong now. Donkey Kong 3 is like, we lost the plot. Why are we spraying bugs?
Yeah,
there's no you're spraying bug spray up Donkey Kong's butt the whole time. Why? What are we doing? I didn't understand it. I just oh cool, more Donkey Kong. I guess we'll do this, and I just kind of accepted it, but it's not okay. What's happening?
So then the next one is
That's about it.
The Circus Game and Watch, which I've never played this and I don't own this one. So
do you think this Circus Game and Watch is the origin of the original Donkey Kong cartoon that was part of the CBS early Saturday morning lineup at that time that had Q*bert and some of the other arcade game cartoons, because the plot of that cartoon is Pauline and Mario, a blonde Pauline and Mario have to chase after Donkey Kong, who has escaped from the circus, and it's their job to find him, and of course hijinks ensue.
I don't know, because in the actual, I'm looking up the Game and Watch now. It is cool because it's one of the panorama screen ones. There's no Pauline, and it's pretty basic. It's Donkey Kong on a barrel, and he's trying to either catch or avoid things that are coming down.
Yeah,
it looks like.
I mean, isn't that
cartoon
life
center.
though? Just all we're trying to do is catch stuff or avoid stuff.
Yeah. It looks like Mario is possibly throwing things up, and then there's pineapples or fire, and you have to dodge the fire and grab the pineapple, but he has both of his hands out on both sides. So you have to kind of time them just right, because the fire and the pineapple might come down at close to the same time.
Wow.
It's definitely a Game and Watch game.
I want to power up where Mario throws pineapples. Where's that power up?
That's a good question.
Mario Wonder 2. Let's get the pineapples
There you
going.
go.
Come on.
These panorama ones are really cool, though.
That means it has two screens, one on each side.
Well, it has the fold up screen, but it's in color.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I'm probably not explaining it very well, but what you'll have to look it up. It has it's a folding, kind of looks like a Game Boy, like an SP, but the buttons are down, or it looks like a Game Boy, but the screen folds open.
Expect to see pictures of it as soon as John gets it in. Now that he's looked it up,
Yeah,
it'll be on Discord.
Yeah,
let's go.
Now that I know that I don't have one, and I need to go get it.
But you have Donkey Kong Hockey, which always intrigued me.
Yes. Well, and we could talk about it in a minute, but
we're not there yet.
Yes,
sorry.
Donkey Kong Jr. Math, 1983.
Jumping the gun. Mm-hmm.
Famicom NES. I don't really know anything about this game. This is another one that I don't have.
I've never played it.
We should have called your brother in for 5 minutes to talk about this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Donkey Kong Jr. with doing math problems. You have to... I've only played it maybe once or twice, and it's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure it's just Donkey Kong Jr., but yeah, you got to climb up the vines and solve the math problems and
get the right number.
I'll see if Adam's up. He can jump on here for 2 seconds.
While you're doing that, we'll talk to Donkey Kong 3 Game & Watch.
Yeah. Are you still spraying bug spray up a monkey's butt?
Well,
That's a yes.
you're not really doing that, but you're spraying. You're spraying like bubbles. Like it's kind of hard. I guess it's the bug spray maybe, but you're
Bubbles up his butt sounds much better than
one
bug
person
spray,
is because okay. Some kind of backstory to this. This is the first Versus Game and Watch. So this one is it's a foldable single screen Game and Watch, but when you open it up, it has like 2 controllers inside, and you can play 2 players on it.
Sweet.
And in this game, one of you is Donkey Kong and the other one is Stanley. And you're kind of got platforms on both sides, and the bugs are coming at you from the middle. And I think it's whoever can spray the most bugs wins. You get points for spraying the bugs. So you are still spraying the bug spray, but
Now, just for our listeners, if you have the Nintendo Today app, a little while ago they were having some video footage of some of these. Oh, they have Donkey Kong on here. They're having video footage of some of these old Game & Watch games, and that was really cool. And the Donkey Kong one looks pretty dang faithful. Like, it's got the girders and everything, and you're jumping over barrels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely go check those out. That was cool when they were doing that.
and then the next one is the Donkey Kong Hockey Game & Watch, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 3 and Hockey both came out in 1984. And Donkey Kong Hockey is the same. It's a Versus as well. It has the 2 little puck-looking controllers. And it's really cool because it's basically just a hockey game between Donkey Kong and Mario. And you can move up and down to try to block the puck. But the puck kind of moves. It's almost like air hockey, like digital air hockey. And the puck kind of like, you can see it going across the screen, but it's kind of like skipping frames because it's going from line to line to line on the LCD screen.
Oh,
And you can
crazy.
change where it's going based on how you hit it. But it's a lot of fun. My son and I have played a lot of that one.
That's great. I want to try to find some of these Donkey Kong Game & Watches. I don't know that I want to pay the...
They're a little
premium.
pricey. The Versus ones are all like probably around $130, $150. I'll have to maybe I can bring some with me to CGF when we can play them.
Donkey Kong played hockey, and then Nintendo said, well, I guess we're done with this character for a decade.
Pretty much, right?
They have a tendency of doing that. Not a fan.
Except it's been longer than a decade this time around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, between Donkey Kong Hockey and Donkey Kong 94 and Donkey Kong Country, 10 years straight up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
84, 94. Yep.
Too long.
Which
Too long.
I'm sure Dan would argue for Donkey Kong Country being the better 94 game, but man, Donkey Kong 94 is pretty dang awesome. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean they're different animals. I mean they're not even comparable really. You've got sort of a puzzle, like you could call it a puzzle platformer, but really just a puzzle game with some really great setting and a cool story. Probably, I would say it's one of the better, even just Game Boy games in general.
Oh, it's
Donkey Kong 94.
It's probably my favorite Game Boy game other than Pokemon.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd say it's right up there. I mean, Link's Awakening is always going to be my number one.
Yeah, Link's Awakening's good too.
94, I came to it late, which is unfortunate, but because I just thought it was a straight up. I've told this story before, I think, but I just thought it was a straight up just port of the NES version or whatever, or the arcade, and then somebody's like years later, somebody's like, no. It starts that way.
They got you. They tricked you.
Yeah. And so when I got that, that's phenomenal. And of course, very notable that if you pop it into your Super Game Boy, it has a nice little arcade bevel.
Yeah, it does.
And nice color palettes, and that's a great way to play that game.
It also seems kind of weird to say, but
extra sound.
Yeah, extra sounds too.
Donkey Kong 94 is the bigger game, like size wise. It takes way longer to beat Donkey Kong 94 than it does to beat Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, Donkey Kong 94 is like 6 hours probably.
I mean,
Jeez.
if you're trying to 101% Donkey Kong Country, that could take some time.
Yeah, well, I don't know how long it would take you to 100% 94 either.
Not as much as Country 2 and 3.
Donkey Kong Country is a pretty short game. Like I think Dan could probably knock it out in 2 hours.
I do think 94.
Yeah, I have done that on stream, 2 hours.
94 really does feel like the best possible swan song for classic Donkey Kong.
Uh-huh.
You know, it really is kind of the end of that era, and I don't think it could have ended on a better note.
I really would love to see. I mean, I know the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series kind of took over that role.
Oh yes,
but I would like to see something a little more faithful to this. Like,
give me a sequel.
Just as a digital, like, even if it was just a digital little, you know, here's some Donkey Kong classic Donkey Kong arcade type gameplay for, you know. For
just
$5
the controls of 94
Donkey
are
Kong?
magical.
We'll call it Donkey Kong 99.
Donkey Kong 99.
It'll be Donkey Kong 2026. Let's
all
make
the
it
little
next year.
Marios try to get up the girders, but there's 100 of them.
Could you imagine if they made a 99 game with 94? Like,
yeah.
But they call it Donkey Kong 94 because there's only 94 players.
yes. And like everyone's trying to get through a Donkey Kong 94 stage faster than everyone else.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I could do that. I guess Dan really wants to talk about Donkey Kong Country for sure.
Can we talk about Donkey Kong Country now? Jeez. I let you gush about Game & Watch for like 30 minutes. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm just kidding. Yes, so Donkey Kong Country, my beloved, by my personal favorite game of all time. Though I will concede, it's not like the best game ever made. It's just my favorite. I remember when I first saw this game. It wasn't in a store. It was like at my cousin's house or something. I was gaming was like pretty off my radar. My older brother had an NES and we played that, but it wasn't like I was going out and trying to play more video games. But then I got to play it at my cousin's house. And I mean, it just was, like if you look at almost any other Super Nintendo game before this, for the most part, it's souped up NES game. It's like, we got your platformer, it's better graphics. Sometimes there's some Mode 7 going on, but for the most part, it's like better looking NES game going on, whatever. Donkey Kong Country was the first time I looked at a video game and I was like, how are they doing? What is this? How? What's happening? Where it's like not photorealistic, but it's the most realistic thing I've ever seen a video game do at the time. And it looked like a living it looked like a playable cartoon. It looked like claymation or looked like, CGI, like crazy. And I was like immediately like, Dad, I want this for Christmas. Like this is whatever this is. Well, let's do that. And yeah, I ended up getting it. And so, yeah, I didn't play a lot of Super Nintendo until Donkey Kong Country, really. I missed out on like 2 years of Super Nintendo stuff. And I went back and like picked stuff up. But yeah, so that's my Donkey Kong Country story and why it's so special to me. And I just played it nonstop, after that. And yeah, could beat it in less than 2 hours and have done so on stream. And it's still one of my favorites.
I'm still trying to figure out. I cannot remember at this point in time whether or not I actually might have played Donkey Kong Country 2 before Donkey Kong Country.
Mm-hmm.
Because I for some reason, I mean, I was aware of the game from Nintendo Power and stuff, but I just never had the opportunity to play it. I don't even remember it being available as a rental, which is kind of weird. But I remember getting Donkey Kong Country 2, and then I'm sure I was like, oh, I gotta find the original as well.
Pretty easy to do. They were kind of pumping those games out.
Yeah,
big time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same as Dan. Donkey Kong Country for me was a big, I mean, obviously Super Mario World is huge, and I played a lot of that and Mario Kart. But I mainly played Mario Kart with friends. I hardly played it by myself, but whenever I was at my house, I was by myself. I was usually playing Donkey Kong Country as a platformer. And
yeah, I mean, which is crazy to think that like I still to this day have played a little bit of Mario World, and like it's just like it's good. It's just not my game. Like I don't know. I played more Yoshi's Island than I have Mario World. It's just because of that's when I came on.
Yeah, man, I played a lot of Mario World because of my brother. So if it wasn't for him, he was the one with the Super Nintendo.
There's a very good chance that Donkey Kong Country is the first video game I actually played, although it may have been more the good old give your little brother a unplugged controller.
You might not have actually ever played.
To this day, he maybe has never played it.
It's always unplugged.
Oh, I've definitely played it. I got 101%. I got the bonus room inside the bonus room.
Was your brother the whole time?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. even last year when you were playing it,
that's right.
Still just your brother.
Yeah. Somehow he does it. You know what else is funny is that I didn't play Donkey Kong Country 2 until like much later. Like I came into the Super Nintendo with Donkey Kong Country, and then it was like that, and then I played Lemmings 2 and Star Fox, and I guess we played Super Metroid, and like a couple other games, and like that was it for Super Nintendo for me. I didn't really kick into high gear for gaming until N64. But playing it, so I kind of have a funny perspective on it because playing it now, like it is, I can see all the like stark differences and all the things that they changed and updated, and the difficulty ramp, and my appreciation for it is no less, is not diminished at all. It's still like one of the greatest games ever made. I just have such a soft spot for the original, personally. But I will concede that like 2 just shines in ways that 1 doesn't, for sure.
Yeah, when Donkey Kong Country 2 came out, I wasn't really all that focused and in the know on when games were releasing, and I remember going to a friend's house and he was playing it. I was like, "What? There's another Donkey Kong Country?"
Mm-hmm. That's how it always is, right?
Yeah. So then, like, it was the next few probably months of renting Donkey Kong Country 2 because I hardly ever bought any Super Nintendo games.
That's probably what it was for me too. Like I owned maybe 5 games, but I rented a ton. Yeah.
Now, Donkey Kong Country 2, I'm pretty sure I got as a gift, and this is my favorite Donkey Kong game. Which is weird because you don't actually get to play as Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But it introduced my all-time favorite Kong, which is Dixie Kong. I love the pirate theming that you really get in Donkey Kong Country 2.
That was really cool. I like they leaned into that real hard.
Yep. The
new animal buddies are so good. The spider.
Yep.
Oh,
quite a bit better than the original ones.
Mm-hmm. A lot more useful.
I have to say, for me, Donkey Kong Country 2 is the perfect Super Nintendo era platformer. I cannot find a fault with Donkey Kong Country 2.
Mm-hmm. I think if I were to do like an objective look at both as best I can with my like rose-colored glasses, I prefer the vibe of 1 to 2. 2 to me it's very dark, which is fine, but like that to me got old after like the second world. I was like, okay, more darkness, great. Like I really liked like tropical themes and then Egyptian themes and then like toxic waste themes and cave themes and snow themes. I really appreciated that in the first one. So I don't feel like 2 really hit the differentiation as much.
That's fair.
But raw platforming and everything they added with the coins and the purchasing system and just the platforming in and of itself too is just a higher quality, I think. So they really did hit their stride.
Banana birds.
Banana birds, man.
Banana birds.
That's 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought it was. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking they were in the second one too.
Right. Holy crap, you're right.
That's 3.
3 is the one I played.
2 added bonus
Bonus
coins and hero coins.
That's right.
Wow, geez.
3 is the one I actually played the most recently. On NSO, I've been slowly getting through it. And man, like the differences between like 1 and 2, they made the same leap to 3. I don't think the platforming quality is there like it was in 2, but they brought back a lot of the like differentiating vibes, and the boss battles are just bananas in 3. Like some stuff you wouldn't even think of that you could do in a Donkey Kong Country game.
They tried to make it so that you could explore a little bit more.
That was so cool.
And that was I think pretty
The world map.
kind of a cool idea to expand it instead of just going from dot to dot. Actually giving you the opportunity to explore that world. I mean, we hadn't even seen that in a Mario at that point. Not to that point, not to that level. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I think the boss battles. I think the boss battles are one of the clearest like progressions because you go from Donkey
Jump on
Kong
ahead
Country
3
1,
times.
where all of them are just oversized regular enemies. Yeah, K. Rool's a little more complicated, but even then, you just jump on his head.
Right.
To where, like, by Donkey Kong Country 3, you've got, like, the snowball fight against the snowman. Even that first boss, where you have to throw the beetles in his mouth and make him burp. It's just like, they went crazy.
Which I love.
Right.
I love it.
Kind of what Shannon was saying, we had the exploration there, and I was thinking, well, Mario just went up to them, and they're like, we don't even have a world map anymore. You can just free roam wherever you want to go. Because 64 came out, like, same time.
It's so bananas to me that we got 3 Donkey Kong Country games, like good, like some of the best games on the system in the span of what, 3 years? Like, 4? No, I guess it was 4 years.
That was 94, 95, 96.
97.
Yeah. Yearly.
Oh, no, 96, yeah. Still crazy.
I mean, I think it was the end of 96, but yeah.
But I guess once they had their process down, it was like, yeah, just, model some new Kongs and we'll make some new stuff. And they had a good baseline.
Yeah, they use the same engine, I'm pretty sure. Like,
I will say, even as
we
a
don't have
kid,
to talk.
It always bothered me that Donkey Kong was only playable in one of 3 Donkey Kong Country games.
They fixed that later, though.
Fair.
But it's Donkey Kong's country. That's what they're saying.
There you go.
It all takes place in his country.
No, it's because there's no apostrophe S on Donkey Kong like there is
I know.
Diddy's Kong Quest.
I'm just postulating, satisfying Sam's curiosity. So the Game Boy games, which were sort of like chronologically, they sort of take place in between each of the Donkey Kong Country games, the land games. They were good for what they were, but they, more than most platformers, I feel like suffered from the limitations of the Game Boy.
They were pretty slow.
I wanted more screen real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Big
I
time.
think technically the fact that they were able to pull off putting a functioning Donkey Kong Country game, I mean, obviously this shorter games, smaller game with that, but I find them really difficult to play because there are times where you cannot see an enemy until it's like hitting you.
You got to memorize the levels.
Right.
I had either one or two when I was a kid to go along with my Super Nintendo game. And yeah, I mean, there were levels that were just like, I can't beat this. Like, I don't know what's happening.
It's the same way with the
felt unfair.
remix on Game Boy Advance. Like,
yeah, they cropped in.
it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard to go back and play them.
So that's Super Nintendo and Game Boy. But Rare wasn't done. We had the launch of the Nintendo 64 in 96. And of course, a year later, we get Diddy Kong Racing. Not exactly what we were expecting from Donkey Kong, but same year as, or the year after Country 3 came out, so they busted it out. My favorite kart racer on the N64 for sure.
Definitely had the best music.
Yeah, with or without Diddy Kong in there, I mean, it would have been a solid game. Very, very good adventure.
It's better than
game.
Mario Kart 64.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
I can't agree with that. Sorry. I think it's a good game,
it's all good.
But I also came to it much later, and so I didn't play it until, like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. So maybe it's nostalgic speaking, but Mario Kart 64 was that game. That was that college game for me, for myself and my college buddies. Like, so I can say that the fact that, like, the modes in, like, the single player is definitely hands down better in Diddy Kong Racing. I recognize that, but as a straight up party game, I'm gonna go, or multiplayer game, I'm gonna go Mario.
It's keenly different. Like,
it is very different.
Mario Kart has the, like, item rotation down. Like, there's no beating that. So Diddy Kong had to come up with its own unique sort of formula, which is like an upgrade system where every time you get a missile, it's like an upgraded version of that same item, which I like, but I wish that they had more variety and not just the same 3 or 4 items.
Yeah, you either got a missile or a shield or like a...
Yeah, missile, shield, tar, and special, and I don't remember what special.
I think it just gave you invincibility for a short period of time.
Oh, was that it?
Kind of like
Yeah,
a star.
like that. Oh, and boost, yeah.
And boost.
So that was it. Which really, I mean, that's all the items in Mario Kart are, but they just were presented in a more fun package, I'd say. I'd say Mario Kart's presentation with that was better. Having
played both of them in their, like, heyday, I would kind of agree with Shannon on the single player, but I also think that Diddy Kong Racing was... I think we played more multiplayer of Diddy Kong Racing just because it had more modes. So, like, with the N64 Mario Kart, you basically had Balloon Battle, and that was kind of it. But with Diddy Kong Racing, you had different modes where, like, you were flying an airplane to go pick up eggs and, like, deliver them to your nests, or you were having to go... They had, like, the hovercraft arenas where there was different types of battles, like... They went all out with the different types of gameplay you could do. So I think we kind of enjoyed the variety a little bit more than... I mean, we also played 1,000,000 hours of Block Fort. So I can't say that...
Well, and it came out after Mario Kart. So they kind of had, like, you know, they knew what Nintendo was doing with Mario Kart, and they were like, let's put our own twist on it. They were able to kind of push it further.
It couldn't have been much after Mario Kart.
I don't have a date
year, right?
in my head.
Wasn't Mario Kart 98?
No. It was pretty close to launch, I thought.
Was it?
I don't think so. It was after
If only we had just done a Mario Kart themed episode, you know.
February 10th, 97.
Okay.
So, and the N64 launched, Christmas that year, November the year before, so only a few months later.
I thought it
pretty
was...
close.
I thought it was summer.
And then Diddy Kong was that Christmas. So it was...
So about a 10-month head start.
10 months. Yeah. So who knows what those development cycles look like. And also Nintendo opted for sprites for their carts and not like modeled 3D. So they probably saved some development time on that. But I'm not knocking Mario Kart 64 at all.
It is.
We also played 1 million hours of it. But this is
it's kind of an interesting point that with the rare Donkey Kong development, because I remember reading that Miyamoto himself thought of Donkey Kong Country that like this is a little bit too much like Mario, and it's almost like the same repeat with Diddy Kong Racing, but I think they did a little bit more to differentiate it there. But that is kind of one of the like questions I kind of had for the podcast was, whether or not we would agree with that assessment, or if Donkey Kong needs to be distinct from Mario in some way. Because it does sort of feel like Nintendo kind of just turned it over to Rare, like, okay, we've got Mario, we don't want to make both these series. Maybe that was even a way of making sure that it wasn't just Mario with a monkey.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I think that, you have a ton of Nintendo's developing a bunch of platformers, right? Outside of Mario, what did we have? We had Kirby. Later we had Yoshi's Island, which is like another platformer. Donkey Kong, obviously. What else am I thinking of?
Well, even Kirby was being developed by HAL Laboratory before Nintendo fully took over.
Mm-hmm.
As
I guess I'm just saying,
second
like,
party, kind of like similar.
What percentage of games in that generation for the Super Nintendo were side-scrolling platformers?
1 billion of them.
Most of them. I guess I do struggle if you just strip away all the style points at its core. What is differentiating Donkey Kong Country from Mario World?
Other than they're a platformer, like they're like, totally different.
There's some action elements that are in Donkey Kong that are not in Mario.
The physics are way different. Like Donkey Kong is not a precision platformer whatsoever.
He's heavier. Now when you get to the retro era, it's a whole different ballgame. But yeah, I think that Rare certainly was taking a lot of inspiration from Miyamoto in his development and how he does his just I don't know. I think I'm okay with the fact that like it's pretty much a Mario ripoff, just like every other platformer on the system was, with like a few unique differentiators here and there. The thing that really sold you on Donkey Kong was the visual style, the vibe, the music, the auxiliary things, which matter. I don't want to downplay those things, but I'm okay with that assessment.
Well, and I think
not mad about it.
One thing to think about too is that Mario as a platformer, it was set up to have better longevity than Donkey Kong did as a platformer. Like games were not vertical anymore, like an arcade style game. We kind of left all that behind, where Mario as a platformer, as a side scrolling platformer, was the future. And we still get those games today. You don't see a whole lot of games that were like the original Donkey Kong. So I think maybe Nintendo saw that and was like, we need to, Donkey Kong needs a refresh. Like we need to figure out a way to bring this into something that's going to last longer, because his way of platforming is dead.
And Nintendo's way of developing is like gameplay first. They don't start with Mario and say, what do we want to do with Mario? They're like,
the fact
cool
that they
idea.
didn't even care what his name was. They developed the game first,
right,
and then add a name to it.
Exactly. So yeah, that lends itself to that. But then we get Donkey Kong. So after Donkey Kong Racing, we wait 2 years anxiously for whatever version of Mario 64 Donkey Kong's going to try to push out. And we get Donkey Kong 64. I love it. So, take that with a grain of salt. But I also understand its faults, and I am willing to, look them in the eye and say, yes, this should have been better. Namely, for me, I think that the too many characters thing was not the main problem. The main problem for me is that a lot of the power-ups were essentially keys to open doors.
Yeah.
You know, like the instruments did have some combat viability, but for the most part, you just stand on a platform, play your instrument, and it opens a door. The guns are really cool. I like that. But again, not a ton of combat viability, and really you're using them to shoot your keyhole.
I think the biggest downfall of this game is the fact that every Kong has his own currency multiple times. It's like he has his own coins, He has his own bananas. Like it's
that didn't so much bother me though. Like when I was a kid, I thought that was fun.
Well, yeah.
I was like, oh great, I get to go through the whole level again and collect these bananas.
As
now.
far as
Fine,
replayability goes, it's horrible.
Yeah. If you're trying to 100% Donkey Kong 64, like no, just jump out a window. Don't even, just stop.
So yeah, I have the same like. I love Donkey Kong 64 for lots of reasons. I mean, it was when I got my first N64 that was mine, I got the Donkey Kong 64 Jungle Green 64.
The Jungle Green. That's the one I have now.
And I played Donkey Kong 64 start to finish. I don't know if I 100%ed it, but I got pretty close. Like I got all the coins and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where if I try to go back and play it now, I can't make it very far. There's way too many. Go collect this, go collect that. There's too many different things to collect. I think if they would have pared it down, maybe not even had the coins.
I've never actually beat it.
I haven't beat it either.
I beat it twice. I beat it once when I was younger, and then once again when I bought it, my most recent collection. But I don't try to 100% it. I try to collect as little as I can, honestly, because it is kind of a time suck. But I still have fun. Like the fun parts of it are so worth it to me.
Well, and another reason why I like it a lot is because it introduced me to probably my favorite arcade game, which is Jetpack.
Oh yeah, there is Jetpack in there.
Oh, dude, Jetpack's the best.
Yeah, that's great. Love it.
It also introduced us to quite a few more Kongs in the world of Donkey Kong.
Yeah. The sonicification of Donkey Kong.
They also killed off Wrinkly Kong.
Yeah,
Oh,
the ghost
yeah.
of Wrinkly Kong.
Poor Wrinkly.
That's right.
What was it? Was it Wrinkly Kong?
She's still a ghost in King of Swing.
Yeah.
Wasn't she a ghost in 3 also, though?
No, she's playing an N64.
In Donkey Kong Country
She's in her
3?
little- Yeah, she's in her little house
Oh,
playing
that's right.
N64.
So I guess
And doing aerobics.
64 is the first time when she's dead.
Yep, she died.
But somehow the original Donkey Kong lives on. Oh, Cranky.
Good old Cranky. He'll never die.
So my question is, why do you think Donkey Kong 64 has not been released on the NSO 64 app? Like it just seems it seems like a glaring hole to me.
It's
It was
definitely
on
weird.
Wii U.
Yeah, it's been on Virtual Console before.
Virtual
Yeah.
console,
I'm
yes,
sure it's-
but
I'm sure
not
it's just
NSO.
like something they're saving. Yeah, you know, I mean, they just got
It's
like,
a matter of
I bet
time.
you we get
last
it
year, the
right
year before, they just started
or right
releasing
after
their
Bonanza.
games. There we go. Yep, get more Donkey
Perfect timing.
Kong. Mm-hmm.
Which would be pretty quick then. I mean, within the next few weeks, I mean, if it's going to try to
Well, I mean, they
coincide, and Nintendo
Yeah,
has
shadow
done that.
drop them like every Thursday
Then-
right now.
Right.
Then they're going to give us the wireless bongo controllers and Jungle Beat. Watch.
Oh, I bet you.
I would,
yeah, we're
I would
getting
take
something.
that. I would take it.
Just listen. I want one more Labo set. Okay, and it's bongos.
It would last like 2 seconds. Cardboard bongos.
No, it's going to be more like pat, pat, pat,
Flatten
pat, pat, pat.
that cardboard real quick.
It's durable. It's thick. You got a piano. You bang on that thing. Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
But yeah, Donkey
That's my dream.
Kong 64 was like a pretty amazing feat of a game, like for how big it was.
It looked great too. Probably the best looking N64 game.
And that it had multiplayer, which is a lot of times never talked about.
Mhm.
It had a deathmatch in it.
It was great.
Uh,
We did a lot of that.
which is another thing that always never.
It also gave us the DK rap.
Yes, this is true.
That's also true.
You can't downplay the DK rap. It's wonderful.
It always, you know, when I think back now, it never made sense why we had to get all brand new Kongs. Like, there's no Trixie, or there's no Dixie Kong, you know, there's no Kitty Kong. They're replaced by 2 Kongs that look like them but aren't them. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know.
it's like, why couldn't you just do like Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie
Dixie.
Kong, Kitty Kong, and Funky Kong? Why couldn't they just do that? Instead, we get, you know, 3 brand new Kongs that we never are
Somebody's
seen
gotta-
again afterwards.
Somebody's got to sell you guns.
I mean, I feel like Lanky Kong adds something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I
That's-
like Lanky Kong, but
Chunky and Tiny are kind of like Dixie and
They
Kitty
are.
replacements. But I like.
I mean, I yes, I don't get me wrong. Lanky Kong's my favorite Kong, but it just seemed really weird that they just dropped like.
He has no style.
You want name recognition whenever you're putting out a game. Like, these are all brand new Kongs. Whenever you had, you know, pre-existing ones.
I mean, you want Donkey Kong in there and probably Diddy Kong, but
Yeah, but
Does
let's be
anybody
honest. Donkey Kong got played the least out of all the Kongs in that game.
yeah, true. Yeah,
So,
I probably spent the most time with a jetpack in that game. Honestly.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the other Kongs were like way cooler as far as movesets
Maybe-
and stuff go.
And maybe it's just that Smash Bros. Brawl codified it, but it is interesting that like the jetpack and the peanut gun have become like a permanent part of Diddy Kong's
Yeah,
whole
his arsenal.
repertoire.
Mhm.
Like he always has them now.
Yep. What sticks, man?
Yeah, I
Walnuts, peanuts.
just want to know when
pineapple
we're getting
snacks.
Lanky Kong for Smash.
Lanky Kong for Smash. Lanky Kong in Mario Kart World, at least. Come on, they got like 100 characters in that thing.
I'd main him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
want
I would.
Lanky
I would
Kong.
exchange a few of the enemies that we, Mario enemies that are going
Goomba.
to be
Goomba
kart
stack.
drivers. Well, Goomba is okay, but like some of these other ones, I would gladly exchange them for a few Kongs.
At least,
Yeah,
at
let's
least
go.
Lanky Kong has arms
Right?
to drive a
Who
cart.
could
with.
actually be driving?
Well, guys, I think we may actually skip our community couch tonight. I can't hang on for much longer, to be honest. As much as I love talking Donkey Kong, so we will pick that up at another time. But before we log off, anything else you guys want to hit? Donkey Kong wise,
Can you think of anything?
I know we're probably going to talk about it next time, but like, kind of just, it's weird that Donkey Kong Country jumped between 2 developers, and like, I feel weird that Retro didn't get to do their own Donkey Kong the way the Rare did. They were just like, you get Donkey Kong Country, you take over where they left off. Which I guess we could talk about that more when we get into retro era Donkey
Sure.
Kong, but it's one of those things that's always kind of stuck out to me, that it seems like you think that you trusted in them enough to give them Metroid, and then you're like, hold on, you're gonna do Donkey Kong Country just like we used to do. Don't change it up too much. We don't want to rock the boat.
I mean, they did kill it though. I mean, Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze are
Yeah,
like
they're great.
2 of the best platformers ever made.
They're really good, but again, who would have been better to give us a 3D Donkey Kong than the people that made Metroid Prime? I mean,
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
so it's just kind of weird. They're like, yep, you get 2D, do it.
Although we don't know what team developed Bonanza. Was it the 3D Mario team?
It sure
it
looks like
it was.
but
It looks
And
like the
that's a good team to have doing your 3D platformer.
yeah, but that's why you had to wait a decade to get it, or 2 decades.
I was young and now I'm old, and
Just think, you
games
could
come out.
have had a retro 3D Donkey Kong on GameCube, even maybe.
Look, I'll take Donkey Kong with an arm cannon. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying
with
I'm
he
happy
has
where we're at.
a coconut cannon.
I want Donkey Kong hockey for Switch 2. That's what I really want.
There we go.
Mega Man Donkey Kong?
Yeah, but he has to have the log that shoots coconuts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do think, and actually, I really am hoping that Nintendo is looking more favorably towards Donkey Kong right now. Just, having Donkey Kong in the Mario movie, giving him this redesign, having him in the Universal Parks, his own area. I think that Nintendo is finally, hopefully, coming back around to having him be more up in front, one of their main characters again.
I mean, if history tells us anything, you have a decade gap, and then you have a game every year for the next 4 or 5 years.
So Switch 2 is going to be
I'm
full of Donkey Kong.
It's going to be the Donkey Kong machine. That's what I'm hoping
That's
for.
what Super Nintendo was. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm either going to fall asleep right here on mic with you guys, or we need to sign off.
Let's do it.
Which one? Okay. All right. Thank you guys for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, you can check me out on Blue Sky. We are at retrologicgames.bsky.social. You're also welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link to that is in the Blue Sky bio. And you can also find everything on our website at retrologic.games, including the Discord link right there. So jump right in. We'll welcome you with open arms. And then we'll ask you to show us pictures of your cool collection. That's mostly what we do on there. Pics. I want them shelf pics.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sam, are you still here? You froze again.
No, he's just hanging out.
Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells.
That's the powered up
Indeed.
shot of the coconut cannon is pineapples.
Indeed. All right. Peace out, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.